So tonight I am going to demonstrate one of our meal kits. This is our Good Food Real Fast Greek collection. So in this collection, not only do you get products, but you also get some recipe cards and a grocery shopping list. So in the kit, it does come with 4 products: the souvlaki seasoning, the Greek dressing, the lemon dilly dip mix, and our spinach dip mix. We're going to use 3 of the 4 products tonight. We're not going to use the spinach dip, but we will be doing a lemon dilly tzatziki. We'll be making the Greek dressing for a Greek salad, and we'll be using the souvlaki on chicken. So I've already pre-cut most of the chicken, but we are going to use the steamer. So this is the multi-purpose steamer. If you've watched any of my other videos, there's one I do where I cook quinoa in it. You can definitely do chicken. You can steam your veggies. You can bake with them. There's a couple different recipes we have for our sweet banana bread, or even the new chocolate temptation cupcakes. You can make it into a cake. These steamers are ideal for microwave cooking, for faster, quicker, and sometimes healthier cooking. They're also safe in the oven up to 425 degrees. So if you are baking a loaf or even a bread, you can actually do a whole loaf of bread in the steamer in the oven as well. So I'll try and find that recipe for you guys. All right, so to get started, I'm going to finish getting the chicken ready. So I do still have a chicken breast here that I haven't finished cutting because I just wanted to talk a little bit about this awesome chef knife. So if you don't have the chef knife, this is the, here, I'll hold it so you can see it, not against my black shirt. This is the Prep Pro chef knife. It is ceramic. We use a black ceramic now. It's a little sturdier than our older white ceramic. It also doesn't stain like the white one did. So these are ideal for things like chicken when it's thawed, not frozen. It's great for softer vegetables and fruits, and it just cuts so easily through. You're not having to saw back and forth when you go to cut. And we're going to preview the paring knife when we do the veggies in just a minute as well. So I'm just cutting the chicken up into chunks for the souvlaki. I find you can cook, even though you can cook a full chicken breast in your steamers or multiple chicken breasts, I just find that if you are doing like something like souvlaki, where you're going to be cutting the chicken up into chunks for eating anyway, I just pre-cut it all into the chunks. I find it just cooks quicker and a little more evenly. So that has 3 large chicken breasts, all chopped up, ready to go. So we're going to add souvlaki. On the side of the jar, there's always an easy to prepare recipe on all Epicure spices. This one is to cook a pound of cubed chicken, pork, lamb with 2 sliced bell peppers and 2 tablespoons each of seasoning, olive oil, and lemon juice. Now, a lot of the time that's if you're doing it over a stovetop or doing skewers. So in the steamer, we don't need oil or water or any extra. All we're gonna do is seasoning and a bit of lemon juice. So, using our 4-in-1 spice spoon, I'm just gonna take out, and I'm only gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons, just because it's not quite a full pound of chicken. All right, so we're gonna pop the chicken into the microwave. Okay, so I put that on for 3 minutes. It won't most likely be done, but I wanna give it a bit of a stir at that point and then pop it back in the microwave for another couple of minutes just to finish it off. Okay, so the other thing I wanna prep, 2 things we're gonna prep while the chicken's cooking so they have a bit of time to sit, and then we'll finish up with the veggies. So the first one we're gonna do is our Greek dressing. Now I've pre-measured about 1/3 cup of oil and about 1/8 cup of red wine vinegar, just so you didn't have to watch all of that part. And this is the salad dressing cruet. What's really cool is it actually has measurements right on the side of the glass jar. So one less kitchen tool to dirty. You don't need your measuring cups necessarily. Epicure also designed this funnel specific for our cruet. It's got the wide mouth, the shiny side of the silicone's on the inside, so everything will just slide right into the cruet. And the recipe on here, I've actually done half a recipe, but the actual recipe is 3/4 cups of olive oil and 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. So using my 4-in-1 spice spoon again, I'm just gonna do 1 tablespoon. Turn the cruet. This jar, for some reason, is a little sticky. All right. One thing you might notice every time I pick up a jar of Epicure as well is I give it a shake before I open it. And the purpose of that is all of your finer ingredients are gonna sift to the bottom while it sits in your cupboard. So you wanna give it a good shake up so it mixes back up. So we pop the lid on the cruet and give that a shake. and then we're just gonna let it sit. All right, time for some tzatziki, because Greek food without tzatziki is just not Greek food. So in this, one of our 4-cup prep bowl, or sorry, this is our 1-cup prep bowl. This is our 4-cup prep bowl. In one of the 1-cup prep bowls, I've pre-measured 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. And to that, we're going to add a tablespoon of lemon dilly dip mix. And this jar is almost done. Might actually just finish the jar off. So that was probably about 1.5 tablespoons. Don't worry, this is one I always have extra of in my cupboard because we go through it a lot. All right, and the tool I'm going to use to give this a bit of a stir is our new 3-in-1 spatula. It has a little bit of a divot, so it's like a spoon, but it's also got all the edges like a scraper, like a spatula. And then with the shape of the spatula, it'll actually get into different jars. Think of your mayonnaise jar, your peanut butter jar where it's got that lip. This is such a great tool. And I love the size because it's perfect for, think of the small cans of tomato paste, gets right in there and gets it all. So I'm just gonna use that. And I heard the chicken go. I'm just gonna get this finished mixing before we add our lemon juice. I will check on the chicken. And like I said, I know the chicken won't be finished. Just want to give it a bit of a stir and put it in for another 1.5 to 2 minutes. It should be done in my microwave in about 5. So 1 sec, I'll be right back. Okay, having a look at it, I've actually put it in for another 3, so it'll be about 6 minutes for that. Okay, so our lemon dilly is mixed nicely into the tzatziki, and now we're gonna add a bit of lemon juice. So one of my tips, write this down, just kidding. One of my tips with lemons or limes is you always want to give it a good hard roll on your counter before you cut it, or you can pop it in your microwave for 10 seconds, and that just breaks up the pulp, so it'll actually be a bit juicier when you go to squeeze it. So this is the smaller knife, the paring knife, Prep Pro paring knife, and our amazing citrus prep. All right, so there's 2 sections. This is for your lemon, and obviously the green section's for your lime because they're a bit smaller. Now, automatic reaction is to sit it that way because that's the shape, but really what you want to do is put the cut side down because that's where all the holes are in the press for all the juice. So we're going to give that a pretty good squeeze, and we're not going to use all of the juice because we want to save some of this half for the chicken because that's a lot of juice we already got in there. We're going to give this a bit of a stir. And this is a bit messier because now it's a bit juicy. And if you like a garlicky tzatziki, you can always add a little bit of the minced garlic or even the herb and garlic dip mix in with this, just to give it that extra little kick of garlic. All right, so we will set that aside and let it all come together for flavor. All right. So now we're going to get started on the Greek salad. So I showed you our 4-cup prep bowl. This is something that has come back. We had it a couple of years ago, and then we had it as an exclusive host-only item, and now we actually have it back permanently in the catalog. So it's a great bowl. I use this one all the time for my salads. It's great for mixing personal salads or small side salads. So I'm going to start with our cucumber. So again, using the Prep Pro knife, the paring knife, because it is super sharp, it just cuts through my cucumber super easy. And because it's a Greek salad, we're going to do it a bit chunky. Now my Greek salad is quite simple, only because I actually have an allergy to onion, so we can't put onion in our Greek salad. I also am not a lover of olives, so there aren't olives in our Greek salad either. Basically it's tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. Keep it simple. And my favorite demonstration with these knives, usually in a live class and not on Facebook Live, is how easily they cut through a tomato. So imagine yourself cutting a tomato. A lot of the times if your knives are a little bit dull, it takes a little bit more pressure to cut your tomato, and then you end up squishing it. It gets a little mushy. These knives are cutting a tomato like it's a hot knife through butter. They're just easy, easy. And I love doing the cherry tomatoes for a Greek salad because they're just one cut. Cut them in half, pop them in. I'm all about simple. That's why Rada Ready in 20 minutes or less with these meal kits are the way to go. All right, and the chicken went, so we will go and check that. Now I do have a rule with the steamers. My number one rule is when you take it out of the microwave, there's been a lot of steam that builds up in there and the lid is actually kind of suctioned on. So if you go to lift your steamer out of the microwave, they're flexible, right? They're silicone, so it's gonna give and that lid is gonna pop and that steam is gonna rush out. So I always say, before you take it out of the microwave, take your lid off and let a lot of that steam out before you go to lift it out. So let me go check it. All right, so that was 6 minutes for our chicken. It looks fantastic. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of there, but I did want to also show you how much juice is in that front corner. I hope we can see it. So all of that juice just came from steaming the chicken because again, we didn't add any oil or water or anything. So I promise when you do your chicken this way in the microwave, it's going to be some of the most moist chicken you've ever had. The last part of the salad is our pepper, and I'm going to show you another quick little tip that I learned from another consultant. A lot of people have different ways to cut up their peppers, and I always find that when I cut it, I cut off the top and then I'm having to trim off because I don't want to waste any of the top. Here's a neat little trick. If you take your thumbs and you just push in the center, it pushes the center in and there's just a tiny little hole. Then you can take your paring knife and slice into your pepper in half or tear it. It works too. And when you open it up, that part you push down in the middle, look, I have some growth on that one. It's the pit with all the seeds and you're left with very little seeds in the middle. Maybe tap out a few and then you can just trim your edges. So we're using a yellow pepper tonight just to make it nice and pretty. And we'll probably just use half because it's only Peyton and I that like the peppers. As a matter of fact, Jason will probably just have cucumbers. Super quick and easy. Greek salad has to be one of the easiest salads to prepare because you're just chopping chunks. All right. So the last thing I'm going to tell you, I know I said this was a Rada Ready in 20 minutes or less, more like 10 to 12. I did about 40 minutes ago start some Greek potatoes in the oven. So that part does take a little bit longer. However, you can do potatoes in your steamer as well to speed things up. So I do little nugget potatoes. I cut them in half, throw them in the steamer, no water, again, no water needed. And it's usually about, I'd say about 8 to 10, depending on the size of your nugget potatoes. 8 to 10 minutes and your potatoes are done, and then you can just throw on a little bit of lemon juice and lemon dilly, and there you go, some Greek potatoes as well. All right, of course we're gonna add that lemon juice to the salad. We're gonna add some lemon juice to the chicken, but I wanted to just show you what happens to your lemon. See, my lemon is completely inverted inside out, and any seeds or any pulp are left in the citrus press, so that doesn't end up in your food either. So there you go. We are pretty much ready for dinner. We've got our tzatziki, we've got our Greek salad, we're gonna add the dressing to, and then we've got our souvlaki chicken. So I hope you guys learned a little bit about these meal kits. The Mexican is another one that we do, Rada Ready, 10 to 12 minutes. Thanks for joining me, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening.